Look at me. Look at me. I'm in the grass. I'm in the grass, just like she is. Anyways, welcome here back to the Director's Cut. Lights, camera, action. I'm Greydon, and I'm your guide through the deep dive into the world of movies, right here on the Director's Cut. Check down in the description below for everything that we do here at the Fanatics Network. Check down at all those links down below right there. TheFanENT.com, where we have awesome articles. Our YouTube channel, where you happen to be watching me on right now, plus some others. The Fan ENT, right there on Instagram. Fanatics ENT on Facebook. The Director's Cut TFN, where you can talk with me right there. And the Fan ENT on Twitch. Today, if you guys haven't figured out, we're talking the Marsh King's Daughter. But check in the description for ways you can follow us. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell notification for more videos like this. We post content daily. So, without further ado, let's dive into The Marsh King's Daughter. This is a thriller directed by Neil Berger, based upon a novel of the same name. What this story is about a woman named Helena, played by Daisy Ridley here, and her experience being the Marsh King's daughter, who was played by Ben Mendelsohn, who's this uh, grippy. I'll explain to him when we get into more of the thing. I don't want to spoil some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about tonight, right here with you guys. So let's start off. Like Where the Crawdads Sing, The Marsh King's Daughter struggles to invoke the lyricism of the language of the novel it is based on. Despite exquisite images of the wetland setting, despite strong work from Ben Mendelsohn, Daisy Ridley, and Graham Birmingham, director Neil Berger's adaptation is a medium-level thriller. What I mean by medium level thriller is you have great thrillers done by Hitchcock and stuff like that, and you have some okay ones. This is like just middle of the road thriller. I would put this where slightly below, in my opinion, slightly below Red Eye. I mean, I enjoyed it, but to each their own. Anyways, so here we go. Yo, G, what's up, Tim? Hey guys, Tim's doing some amazing stuff. Check that out below. Um, Justin, what's up, my guy? How's it going, man? How are you doing tonight? And Nick from the Universal Wrestling Podcast. What's good, buddy? I'm doing great. Thanks for this overlay tonight, man. You're awesome. So, anyways, what we're doing today. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Helena lives with her parents. Yeah, you like these kind of thrillers? I do too. These are actually good. This is why I said it's the middle of the road. Like I put it up there with Red Eye, Tim, where it's a good thriller, but it's not on par with a lot of other thrillers, but it's still good enough to talk about and to love. And there's still some things in there about like with Red Eye, it doesn't get the love it deserves. This is in that same boat with some of the reviews I've been seeing lately. Wow. Helena lives with her parents in an isolated shack deep within the Edenic marshes of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Yeah, the UP. Can I get a what for the UP? What for the UP? She struggles to understand her mother. She is always mad at me, Helena tells her father, Jacob. She can't see happiness like we do, he says. This is the first sight of how he makes Helena feel special and more connected to him than to her mother. Jacob warns her that she will have twice as many chores as punishments for going hunting with him instead of staying at home, and she tells him it is worth it. Helena adores her father. She loves the way he teaches her about the only world she knows, even if it is brutal. A chewed off paw left behind by an escaped coyote, a wolf shot by her father, leaving its cub to die. The poke and stick tattoos her father gives her all over her body to commemorate her achievements and failures. He tells her that all that matters is family. One day, when her father is out, a man rides up on a motorcycle with a cell phone that is out of range. He is lost in the marsh. It is jarring for us to realize this story was taking place close to present day because the family is so far off the grid that their lives would be no different 50 or 75 years ago. It is jarring for Helena, who has no sense of any other part of the world, and it's jarring when her mother runs out to climb the motorcycle. Desperate to escape, Helena refuses to go, and finally her mother knocks her out so they can get away. When she comes to, they're in a city with the police. Helena's mother was kidnapped by her father, and the motorcycle was her first opportunity to get away. Helena at first refuses to believe her father could have done anything wrong, but once he is captured and in prison, she begins to understand what he did. Vin Diesel, hell, yeah, yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but as of right now, you get a feeling of this is the first part of the movie. You get a feeling of what her dad is up to, but she doesn't realize it as a kid because Helena, at this time, is still a kid, and then Daisy Ridley plays her as an adult. But this is sort of more modern day setting where you actually see a lot of this stuff is usually you hear about this stuff like back in the past. So stuff like this is usually pretty brand new for a modern day setting. Not necessarily brand new, but shedding light on it is kind of brand new. Next, we see Helena as an adult. 20 years later, she's happily married and a devoted mother. In the book, she starts a business with a connection to the world and the world of her childhood. But in the film, it emphasizes her break with the past by putting her as far as possible from the marsh. Yes, that's where these two kind of differ. Um, in the book, they kind of have her start a business in connection with the world of her childhood. So in the world of where she lived in the Upper Peninsula, where this story takes place in that marshes. In the film, it emphasizes her to getting her far away. So she's living in the city, far away from where she was. It's kind of like the old saying out there that the crimes of the father, the sins of the father come back in the children. And it's kind of like, hey, you want to break a generational curse? You just don't do it. That's what she's trying. She's trying to get away from the past that is leaving these ugly scars. And she's trying to get away from that as best as she can. And in the movie, it is moving as far away as possible. Yes, it sucks because you're leaving the world you know. You're leaving the only world you know. But then it just makes perfect sense at half the time to just get away and start fresh and all over again. I know kind of with me growing up, and especially in high school, I butted heads with my parents all the time, teenagers. But the best thing I did was when I went to college, I moved out of the house. I went away to college, lived in the dorm room. I did all that stuff, so I was away. I actually went to school in North Dakota and in Pennsylvania, so I was far away from family. Just not because I didn't like them, just because like I said, butted head with my parents, and I needed to get away from that. So I understand where she's coming from in this early part of the movie, like coming, like just needing to get away, making a name for yourself, making your own life. He works in a large, brightly lit, open space office, typing numbers into a spreadsheet on a screen, completely far away from living out in the marsh. Elena has closed herself from her past and from anyone who knows of her connection to the headlines about her mother's kidnapping and her father's imprisonment. Her husband, played here by the awesome Garrett Hedlund. Check out his other work, you guys. Check it out. Type in Garrett Hedlund. Garrett with two R's and two T's. It's a GARRETT HEDLUND. Check out his work. He's an amazing actor as well. Her husband has no idea. She answers questions about her family with vague lies. She refuses to have any contact with her stepfather, Birmingham, bringing a special sense of quiet, steadfastness, honor, and touch of humor to this movie. Then one day, Helena comes home to find her house filled with police. Ooh, police. I don't know about you guys, but I come home to the police. I'm gonna be scared. I don't know what's going on, like stuff like this. Her father Jacob has escaped. That's what they're here to tell her. And her husband doesn't believe it. She goes, your dad is not named Jacob." And then this is turn of events where she has to tell the truth. Her husband's upset with her and stuff like this. So the tension is building right now. This is the tension that is building in this movie. Can she use her father's lessons about survival to find him? See, this is what this whole thing is. He's taught her how to survive in the marshes, how to survive on her own in the wild. And yet, can she use what he's taught her to find him? It's kind of like the student becomes a teacher, the teacher becomes a student, but yet the teacher hasn't taught the student everything that they know. So there's kind of this cat and mouse game going in here, which kind of builds to the suspense in all in here. Okay. Can she free herself from his other lessons, the ones that tied them together? Yes, and her daughter in this movie has this little diorama she made, and then her little straw things that her dad made for her. She sees them in there. She starts freaking out, like she said, "Oh, he's here. He's close by, like he's massively close by," and she's freaking out. One of the film's best scenes, Helena begins to tell her husband the truth about her childhood. But then the rest of the movie is a predictable chase through the marsh. What I mean by that is, you know what's going to happen. She's tracking him. He's trying to stay a step ahead of her. And in all the meantime, he's tracking her, and she's stay like, yeah. So it's a big, huge circle, and it kind of gets predictable throughout the entire movie. It's not that it's predictable that you can see it a mile away coming. No, no, not that type of predictable, but predictable enough that you know what's going to happen within the marshes. Ben Mendelsohn, one of Hollywood's top choices for bad guy, shows us how Jacob's menace lurks beneath his power to entice and how he can appear to be gentle and ruthless at the same time. Ben Mendelsohn is so amazing in this movie. If you notice the poster right there, he's the guy in the back. He's the guy in the back. You see that guy over there? The guy peering over Daisy Ridley's shoulder? Yes, that's Ben Mendelsohn. Mendelsohn. So phenomenal in this movie he is. He tells his young daughter that if he does not shoot a deer, they will not eat, and pierces her skin for a tattoo while explaining its symbolism. And she finds out that when he said, "Oh, this means family," she finds out in the movie that the tattoo she gave him doesn't mean family. I kind of forget what it meant because I forgot to write it down, but it doesn't mean family, and so she knows. Oh, he's been lying to me. Really scenes it with Elena's younger daughter are tender and touching. Daisy Ridley, like I stated this in Showtime last week. This could be Daisy Ridley's breakout role. You'd be like, well, she's in Star Wars. Well, you could say that, but she is not in. But see, that wasn't well received by the fan base. This one, she has an opportunity to redeem herself in that fan base and try and do something out of character. It's kind of like Robert Pattinson. Let's take Robert Pattinson as an example. And he got his big break as Edward Cullen in the Twilight Saga. Then he did The Lighthouse. Then he was cast for Batman. People was like, Batman can't sparkle. He ain't no sparkly vampire. But you see, it was his turn in The Lighthouse that changed people's mind about him playing Batman. And then when he actually played Batman, it changed his career. This is her Lighthouse, in my opinion. This would be Daisy Ridley's Lighthouse. This is Robert Pattinson's Lighthouse with the Lighthouse with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Kind of changed the course of how people thought of him as an actor. But the film's pacing sags and undercutting the sense of urgency that makes a thriller. Yes, it's a medium level thriller, and it's one of those things that, it doesn't live up to Hitchcock, but nothing thriller wise. It's a thriller. It's a thriller. Yeah. Only thriller that lives up to any thriller that's the best thriller out there is Michael Jackson's Thriller, folks. That's the best thriller ever. but but here's the thing. This is still a decent thriller. If you're a fan of thrillers, I suggest you guys go see this. Could it be better? Yes. There's times I don't want to spoil anything, anything major in here. There are times in here when things could be better. There's also times in here where things are right on the money. Like I said, Ben Milston's character, her father Jacob, he's phenomenal in this role. He's phenomenal. She's Daisy really is very good in her role too. I honestly gotta say, I'm glad they casted her and not like Jennifer Lawrence in this role because we've seen her as Katniss Everdeen, and I couldn't stand that at all. Girl on a Train and Gone Girl are two of my favorites. Yes, yes, Gone Girl is a fantastic one. Yeah, modern day thrillers right there. Girl on a Train. Yes, Tim, those those are some good ones, man. I love Gone Girl. I love the twist in there that it's not what it seems. Yeah. I like thrillers where you're thinking one way, and then all of a sudden they have that segue in there that kind of changes everything, that kind of turns everything on its head, and kind of makes you re-guess what you're watching. That's what Gone Girl is to me. That, in my opinion, that's a thing of a good thriller. And yes, and sometimes in movies, even though we know it's predictable because there's nothing really new in movies, just concepts being redone all the time. Not necessarily the same movie being redone, but concepts within movies being redone all the time. So, like I said, the travel through the marsh, it's kind of predictable. You kind of knew what was going to happen because we've seen stuff like that before. So, I mean, what I mean by sense of urgency, I'm looking back at my notes. What I mean by sense of urgency with that is, yeah, like Shutter Island. Yes, exactly, Tim. Exactly. Um, but you see, here's the thing. What I mean by urgency of a thriller, there's a sense of urgency in every good thriller that makes it, oh, you want to get this over with. Like, what are you doing? You gotta, you gotta get out of there, or you gotta do this. Come on, what are you doing? That sense of urgency, like you're trapped in a room, and you know there's no way out, but there is a way out. You just have to find it. It's that sense of urgency that builds a good thriller, and at times in here, there is that. Sometimes in here, there is not. So it's time for this part of the show where I decide, where I tell you, it's too sweet, can't be beat, too sour, don't even bother, or if it's right in the middle. So, what do I give this? Like I stated earlier in the episode, this is kind of a middle of the road thriller. If I had to scale it from 1 to 5, I would say it's about a 2.5, maybe 2.75. So it's middle of the road. It's a middle of the road thriller. Will you have a good time in theaters watching this? Yes, you will. You'll have a good time in the theaters watching this. So I'll give it a little. You know what? It's too sweet. Hold on. I'll give it a little too sweet. It can't be beat. So here's what we do. Oh, look how cute he is. He's so little. Here we go. Boom! That's right. Too sweet. It can't be beat. So I wanted to tell you guys next week. I wanted to do March King's Daughter because it kind of concluded my Halloween thing that I did in October, which I think ending with a thriller was kind of awesome. Next week, I dive into Phase 4. That's right. I dive back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, folks, because the Marvels is out this weekend, and I'm going to review it for you guys on Tuesday. Will give you guys my good, my bad, and my ramifications of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this stream next week. So I will actually Thanks, thanks, Nick. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Priscilla's out too, so if you guys want to check out another good movie, check out Priscilla. I hear great things about that. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm hearing great things about that movie as well. So check that out. If you have checked out Friday Night at Freddy's, go check that out too. This month is gonna be crazy with movies because what we have Marvels and then we have Napoleon coming up soon. And we just got a trailer for the new Planet of the Apes movie coming out. Ooh, it's a good time to be a movie fan. Let's put it that way. And we get Wonka in December, so yeah, it's a great time to be a movie fan, folks. But join me here next week as I dive into the Brie Larson movie, The Marvels, next week. Is it just as good as the rest of Phase 4? I don't know. Find out with me next week. But until next time, thanks for watching and diving into the deep cuts with me right here on the Director's Cup. And as always, check out down below in the description of the socials for the Fanatics Network. Also, check out my socials down below where you guys can talk with me and follow my channel, Binbuster, where I talk movies. I talk movies in physical media. Like Black Friday's coming up. I've already purchased some stuff through Best Buy. You know what? And superhero related. Some of it's superhero related, so I might show you guys that next week too. So if you guys like that type of stuff, check out my channel at the Binbuster right here on YouTube and as well as everywhere else. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for stopping by. I want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by and everyone who's going to be watching this tonight or later whenever you guys watch this replay. I just want to say thank you for watching this. And until next time, remember, there's more to movies than what we see on screen. I'm Greydon, and I'm your guide through these films and their history right here on the Director's Cut. I'll see you next week. Bye.